Hello and welcome to this Warcraft replay. This is going to be the first of a best of two from the WCA Group B matches. This is going to be a Night Elf versus Human matchup between Nicker spawning in as the grey Night Elf player on the bottom right, and Infi, the teal human player on the top left. So before I get into this, I might say, let's say what the date is. It is the 27th of January, 2015, although that might not be the case in about 17 minutes, but I digress. So yeah, before I get into this game, I might be in a little bit of a bad mood here. I was recording initially, and then I got interrupted twice on two separate occasions. Was pulled in to play a different game, and yeah, I'm actually really depressed right now. Not depressed, but more salty than usual. Either way, hopefully this won't affect the commentary, but if it does, just fair warning. So anyway, the map is on Nomad Isles. Don't expect any Orc players anytime soon. We don't have any until Group D, where we have Fly. And that's that. It's rather unfortunate we only have one Orc player invited to the WCA. There are obviously a couple more, although I don't exactly remember the condition about Lin. There's still Focus from Korea. Who else? There's Zell Singh. There's a couple more, even though I can't remember most of them at the top of my head, because, well, haven't seen an Orc play in a while. Either way, delayed Altar of Elders from Nicker, so it might be a Tavern Hero. Actually, let's just scratch that. It's definitely a Tavern Hero. Nicker's going for many archers early on, so it could potentially be something that, you know, deals a lot of, or relies on a lot of units early on. It could be a Beastmaster first, it could be a Panda first for a lot of power creeping, or it could just be a Dark Ranger first, which we did see, I believe, Shishi doing and failing, unfortunately. And it will be a Dark Ranger. Well, unlike last game, I won't be too hard on the Dark Ranger. I understand her strengths, but unfortunately her weaknesses may just heavily outweigh her strengths. And I think it's justified, honestly. The Dark Ranger doesn't have a great record, particularly in 1v1s. I've heard and seen discussions about Dark Rangers in other more team-oriented, or, you know, more than two player, like free-for-all matches, the potential of a Dark Ranger's power, but, you know, I've actually never casted an FFA, and I probably won't, however, because FFA, free-for-all players are actually completely different from, you know, the standard 1v1 and 2v2 players. So getting to know them is probably difficult in itself as well. So I probably won't do that. I'll tell you another channel you can go to though. It's called FFA Masters. It's being commentated by usually Practice Mage, who is a moderator for Warcraft 3 Reddit, and yeah, pretty good commentator actually. I do enjoy the free-for-alls he actually uploads, which is a lot actually, and I don't actually know or remember the rate of uploads, but he's still active. Anyway, a large number of skeletons. Unfortunately, they all got TP'd back, as the Dark Ranger was surrounded and, you know, taken down low enough to force that TP. I do like the idea that Infi had, like dump all the skeletons away before they get taken away from the TP scroll and deal as much damage and harassment to, you know, delay this expand as long as possible. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. Only one skeleton was able to be left behind, and interestingly enough, and pretty out of character, Nicker is going to completely ignore Infi's intercepting units and just go straight after these peasants. I mean, the town hall still not being built, so it might be forced to cancel. which does actually happen, but in exchange, Nicker's gonna lose either a lot of units or just a lot of the health bar of each unit. Like, we already lost a couple of archers in transit, but I guess in the end 1 or 2 archers is worth the sacrifice of the delay when it comes to the town hall, because human expands are not particularly you know, desirable to face against. We did have the Pair of the Vitality being sold. Unfortunately, Dark Ranger took a shot at the Hawk. Yeah, the Hawk, man. That Hawk, where's the Hawk? Oh, Hawk's there. Hawk doesn't sleep, and since it's not a sleeping creep, just standing next to it will aggro it and force the Dark Ranger to attack it. Not ideal, but that's just what happened. Okay, back to creeping for Nicker. Needs to really, take care of that Ancient of War not to steal any bit of experience. Dark Ranger is going to get level 3, and she will most likely get the level 2 black arrows. Doesn't look like we have it just yet. Maybe didn't put a point in it just for now, but we might have that level 2 skeleton, popping up fairly soon. I also want to mention this. It's rather, a lot of damage is going down on that one footman, but since Infi has, or usually has, a lot of footmen out, it's kind of hard to utilize the Dark Ranger to her fullest, because footmen do take quite a while to kill. They're not like archers that have like 245 HP, or ghouls that have like around 300. I can't remember, honestly. But yeah, honestly, humans, second hardest to probably utilize the Dark Ranger with. Obviously, Orc is the hardest, since grunts have like 700 HP. But yeah, you have to either rely on peasants or peons, workers, or just creep camps, and creep camps will eventually run out. As you can see right here, that one, and eventually the gold mine will be cleared out, and all the nearby creep camps will be pretty much depleted. We did have a Goblin Shredder being hired up from the Goblin Laboratory from the left. We are going to have all the mercenaries that Nicker had pretty much killed off, except this Troll Berserker, thanks to the utilization of the Moonwell. We have a Naga Sea Witch coming out for Nicker as well, utilizing both of the Tavern Heroes. I gotta stop saying utilized. Yeah, let's stop that. Interesting theme here. Dark Ranger for, obviously, the high consistent damage from the black arrows, as well as the frost arrows to keep those footmen, I guess, within range as the Dark Ranger falls a hail of arrows. Either way, Tier 2 has yet to start for Infi. He is placing down the Arcane Vault, hopefully to recuperate and, maybe get back into the fight. Goblin Zeppelin will be taken down, as pretty much all the units besides the skeletons that Nicker has are ranged. Level 2 elementals, they might pose a bit of a problem, especially since we don't actually have a Troll Shadow Priest out for Nicker, so a lot of focus fire and time is being used to try and take down that one elemental. Thankfully it does get taken down, but other than that, there are no skeletons out for Nicker. That might be a problem, as these peasants could potentially zerg this Night Elf army, but of course it is peasants, so they will provide the bodies used for these dark minions. Level 2 has been gained from the Naga Sea Witch. We could potentially have the nuking potential of the Forked Lightning, but since the Naga Sea Witch is using so much mana for the Frost Arrows, I doubt we're going to see a second ability being used anytime soon. Expand coming very, very closely for Nicker, hopefully to match Infi's Expand. Of course, Night Elf players will usually do this. Some human players do it themselves, go tick first and then expand later, to get the, I guess, foundation down before, committing to expand. But yeah, expand first, tick later seems to work for humans for years now. I'm not gonna complain anytime soon. Level 5 on the Archmage. I actually haven't been keeping tabs on the Archmage's level, but level 5 is actually a pretty big deal at 10 minutes. That just goes to show how much constant fighting these two players have been doing, and well, I guess it might not be that great since the Archmage probably can't carry this entire game by himself. He needs his other two heroes. It's either going to be, I don't know, the Mountain King, or maybe a Naga Sea Witch, as humans tend to pick. It could, I don't know, maybe be the usual Paladin. I don't know. Cold Attack +6 has been dropped and picked up by the Dark Ranger, hopefully to amplify her DPS output. Tree of Eternity is underway for Nicker, and well, he's hoping to get transition, or he's hoping to transition into bears. Okay, a lot of Dryads, a lot of Troll Berserkers actually. That's in itself a lot of piercing damage. But Infi's got a reasonable number of towers. Honestly, if this was Infi like years ago, he would just overdo it with towers, but maybe he's learned. We shall see, since Infi doesn't actually choose to defend, but it looks like he's having second thoughts in trying to assault as well. Frost Arrows will most likely be that death of the footman, but he's actually going to choose to deny himself rather than give himself up. Okay, Dryad actually spotted this Archmage. Ideally, the Dryads should be hitting, one by one to, keep stacking the poison slow, but that is a rather weird way to do things, honestly. It would require a whole lot of micromanagement, so I'm not expecting Nicker to do that, nor do I expect any Night Elf player to do that, but if he was like complete 100% machine, he would be maybe doing that. Abolish Magic will be taking down that water elemental with ease. Seeing as it is a level 3 elemental, it will take quite a bit of time to actually take it down, but in the end, it's like, what else is Abolish Magic going to be used for? Mountain King's come out as the second hero of Infi. Little bit risky there, trying to deal with these two heroes by himself, especially since he only has 3 ivory towers. He might actually die here with the Black Arrow, and Nicker is actually making this work. +1 attack for footmen and or normal soldiers and riflemen. Melee and ranged, I guess I should just call it, as well as +1 armor for the soldier types. Spellbreakers will be coming out, and most likely a workshop unit might be popping out too, since we do see the black gunpowder. Otherwise it's going to be riflemen, and it is actually going to be riflemen. The long rifles upgrade will commence, and that will increase the base range of those riflemen. I don't actually remember how much it increases. I don't actually remember the base range of the riflemen. It might be 450, and then it upgrades to like 600, but that seems like a bit of a jump to me, so I might be wrong there. Bronze Drake camp will be cleared out. The Dark Wizard dropped himself a Red Drake egg. That is, it may seem, kind of a big deal, but seeing as I think Abolish Magic can actually deal with that, it might not be too ideal for this particular matchup. Fairy Dragons are out, hopefully to deal with the double Arcane Sanctum comp, and we have something else. We have Polymorph, that's what we have. We have Polymorph, actually. I think we have Polymorph. I'm pretty sure I saw the Giant Wolf into a sheep. and I can't tell if it was the Dark Wizard that polymorphed and then the Spellbreakers reversed it, or if the sorceresses do have Master's Training. I don't know. Let's see how this will be. Nicker, thankfully, has gotten this game out of the early game stage, where the Dark Ranger, you know, seems to fail to pass. So, greater Dark Minions will be up. Unfortunately, they don't deal as much damage as, you know, you would expect a level 3 unit to actually deal, but I guess they can tank quite a bit with that 405 hit point. Howl of Terror somewhere. We have an Overlord camp in the top right being cleared out by Nicker. Of course, a Howl of Terror gets countered by Roar. Not countered, more like evened up, so it doesn't really matter too much. Ankh of Reincarnation would definitely be useful on that Sea Witch. By the way, the Red Drake is out, hopefully to, you know, make things easier when clearing out creep camps, as well as just dealing more damage to this upcoming siege. Although Nicker doesn't, I think Nicker doesn't seem to be afraid of this size of an army. This is not particularly good for Infi right now. There we go, the Bosch Magic, but won't be able to finish off that Red Drake, unfortunately. Yeah, Infi is... He didn't have all his units in one place. As you can see, the majority are actually here, dealing with that Ancient of War that was sneakily placed by Nicker. 82 over 90 versus a 78? 76? Something like that. 78 army of Infi. This will be interesting right now, as we have a lot of mortar teams. We have the Mana Flare form from these Fairy Dragons out, and the upgrades for the Druids are 2-1, so hopefully that will be enough against this 2-1 and 1-0 army. Of course, it is kind of dangerous to go roaring against a Spellbreaker army, because they'll just steal the buff, and if the Priest actually had Master's Training, they could stack it with Inner Fire, and these guys would, especially the Riflemen and Mortar teams, will be extremely difficult to deal with. The problem that Nicker is finding in this fight is constant repositioning from Infi, as well as just there's no skeletons. There's not enough. The bears can't handle it all by themselves, unfortunately, and the slow really hinders things here. A good Stormbolt to take it down, or take one of the bears down. And the TP scroll will be used by Nicker to get out of there. His expand over here, pretty interesting placement. He could have placed it here for, you know, more closer to home, as well as easy to defend. He's expanding the top right again. I guess he just doesn't know that this camp is being cleared out, since it was cleared out by Infi himself. Although I'm pretty sure Nicker passed this as he was trying to sandwich it. Mortar teams are clearing out these turrets. Oh, not turrets, trees. That's what it is. Entangled Gold Mine will... I don't think it's actually worthwhile repairing, as... I mean, I don't think it takes resources, but it's pointless against this amount of mortar teams. Plus, this expand's going to be found out. The remaining creep camps will be cleared out by Infi. Almost level 5 on the Mountain King. Obviously, the Archmage doesn't want to leech experience, even though you can't actually gain experience at level 5. You can still leech it. Scroll of Healing and Scroll of Protection will be picked up by Infi. I mean, he's got plenty of units. He's also got a couple of flying machines as well to deal with these Fairy Dragons. These towers are near completion. Not wise to fight above them, but let's see how this will do. Spellbreakers are going to have a field day, since they can steal all the Rejuvenates and Roars. We did have Silence being learned by Nicker's Dark Ranger, but unfortunately it doesn't hit those Spellbreakers, and it just doesn't seem to work out too well. Obviously the Scroll of Protection is being used on Infi's units, and they might just be outlasting. The mortar team's still not being handled with. The Spellbreakers probably impossible to handle with as well. I mean, Infi can lose like pretty much all his Sanctum units, but his Spellbreakers and Immortal teams will most likely be enough to break through this. And Hippogriffs to maybe deal with the flying machine threat, but with that many flying machines and not enough Hippogriffs, it's kind of hard. We have Mass Teleport being trained up as the ultimate ability of the Archmage, so expect to see a lot of harassment coming down from Infi, and it's going to be much easier to do it as well, because it's kind of like hit and run tactics, so hopefully he'll benefit off that. He's maybe going to send a couple of like dummy units to act as a medium to TP2, but for now he's going to clear out this creep camp. Not creep camp, well, you know, since it's dying very quickly it could be a creep camp, but this expand will fall for Nicker. Maybe a little greedy when it comes to over expanding. I mean, he's got 3,000 gold off of this gold mine, as you can see the math right there. So maybe it might have been worthwhile expanding there, because you got, well, 3,000 gold off of that one. We have another expand from this nearby gold mine, but with Infi looming very close. I mean, Nicker picked that fight last time, and he lost it, so what can he do here? Mass Teleport actually being used by Infi, completely bypassing Nicker's defenses right there, forcing him to reposition, and oh, there we go with a TP scroll actually, so that is going to be used to retreat. Wow, that was actually pretty good for Nicker. Was able to take down the majority of those mortar teams. Infi maybe a little foolish when it comes to that positioning on those mortar teams. Oh well. As you can see, the water elementals are actually going to be used as the dummies to TP into. This is where level 6 Archmage is just really hard to fight against, because you could be there to fight back, and then, well, he could be on the other side of the map. Expand on the top right, Infi will take that, but will Nicker allow it? Probably not. And I don't think Infi is actually going to try and defend. He wants to maybe trade expands, since, I mean, he can destroy it as quickly as Nicker could destroy his one. Mortar teams hopefully will make quick work out of that Tree of Life. Mortar team's still not 3-0 just yet, but there it is. 3-0 for the mortar teams and 3-3 for the Spellbreakers slash Footmen, if we have any Footmen actually, which we don't. Cannon tower is actually being placed down for Infi as well, hopefully to keep the flank secured for Infi, but since it takes a lot longer to kill, longer to build, it didn't work out too well for Infi. And Nicker actually stole himself a Spellbreaker, as the Dark Ranger is at level 6, so Charm is the ultimate ability for Dark Ranger. It's essentially, as it is in Hearthstone actually, it's a permanent mind control. Archmage went for a Mass Teleport. Unfortunately he was interrupted. I don't know actually what interrupted him, but yeah, was forced to use the TP scroll instead. I don't know what interrupted him. I'm not sure if silence can actually interrupt channeling abilities, but I mean, if that's the case, then I'm guessing that's what happened. Alright. Yeah, still a weird game, because both players are they're losing fights every now and then. Infi maybe not lost too much, but since he was far away from his base to reinforce, maybe it wasn't smart to keep fighting, which is why probably he TP'd back. Damn. So honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Charm being used in a competitive game, because, well, first of all, it requires a Dark Ranger, and second of all, it requires a Dark Ranger to be level 6. Dark Ranger 3rd, which is like the Undead's bread and butter pick, will most likely never get level 6. and Dark Ranger firsts will most likely never get past level 3. So this is the only difference here. Maybe this will change my mind, but honestly, I think Nicker just played the Dark Ranger pretty well. Mass TP will be used, but the Archmage will cancel it. He's also being silenced by the Dark Ranger. I don't think he is able to use items either. That's, I guess, the effect of the silence as well, but he's probably need a TP out, which he will do. Yikes, that was a lot of damage being used by the Folk Lightning of the Nagasi, which I thought that was the Mana Flare, but I know the Mana Flare doesn't do that much damage. I think Infi's comp might be obsolete now. This is very dangerous. He's constantly at his opponent's area, but he's forcefully TP'd out, which is really bad. Dark Ranger honestly thought that she was going for another, charm, maybe get a second Spellbreaker, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case just yet. We already have 2 Spellbreakers actually. Don't know what they were doing, but who knows. Oh, that was very cheeky from the Mountain King. Just going for a hit and run style Stormbolt. Mountain King is at level 6 as well. This is unusual because we don't usually have many level 6 heroes at, it's only 26 minutes, it's not that long. Oh, very nice there. Charm and then immediately Preservation to guarantee his survival. Unfortunately, a bear just ate another Stormbolt. Not sure if Avatar is available or the Mountain King's just got level 3 Bash proc. It's obviously level 3 Stormbolt by the amount of kills that he can actually stack up. We have Inner Fire as well, so Inner Fire stacked up with the Roar may be enough, I should say. But let's see just for now how well Infi can deal with this. I don't know per se. The mortar teams not really killing as quickly as I would expect. They're actually focusing the Dark Ranger for some reason. And oh, actually Infi might actually turn this around. He's killed a lot of bears and, well, he's almost killed the Dark Ranger as well. GG from Nicker. And that is going to be rather weird. Infi is going to take this game level 7, level 6 versus level 6, level 5. Yeah, it looked like Infi was cornered, but he just stayed there and held his ground and then won. That was a rather weird way to end this game. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys in game 2 of this best of 2.